Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So it's really nice to see you. Yes, this is just a selected course, and now we still have over the 50 students in the classroom. This is a good situation, status. Yes, I know you want to keep this status. That is a not easy things. Okay, but no worry. The most difficult things already passed. Okay, and today will be the interesting part. Okay, it's Seaborn. It's about visualization. So we just put the data and we will see the interesting figure. So no worry about that. Let's just keep going. And please, oh, by the way, when we will have a final presentation, do you remember that? Just after next week is your turn, right? Next week is our last course. And after that will be your turn. So you need to start to keep with your final project. Okay, but before that, I already upload the two files to our section, the Moodle part. Okay, so you can download these two things into your computers. And by the way, when you want to download this one, maybe you click it and you will see the situation like this one. And you just right click and save it. And notice here, when you just save it, and here will be the txt file. But notice that if you want to have a Jupyter file, so you need to do it like this one. Okay, Jupyter. The last name will be, the last file name will be IPYNB. This will be the Jupyter file. And you can put this file, into your user. Okay, and we can run it, just like my computer does. Okay, so that is our data. So before that, please stop your computers. Okay, stop typing, and we will start our course. Today we want to discuss about visualizing data with Seaborn. Okay, in the past few weeks, that is really tough, I know. We needed to having the data and processing the data, but today we will try to visualize. But we needed to put the data in the right way, right path for the Seaborn. Okay, so today we will, this is our following idea. Okay, and today we will focus on the why we want to use in the Seaborn and why we needed to use it and how to use it. So this is the first part. And the second part will be the 6 essential charts. Because in Seaborn, there has so many functions you can use. But we just want to introduce with you the 6 essential charts. But for your final project, if we want to using the other charts, that is also acceptable. Okay, just depends on you. And in the following week, I will try to apply to the Taiwan data. Just our final project data is Taiwan data, right? We will put the data to combine with the Seaborn and try to have some application, and this will apply with your project. Okay, so that is our plan. And in today, we want to talk about why we needed to use in the Seaborn. And actually, the Seaborn is statistic and aesthetic and pandas aware. Why we want to highlight these 3 things? The first one is statistic, is they can conduct the statistical operations in itself. Okay, they don't need to rely on others. Okay, but sometimes maybe we'll rely on the pandas. But no worry, if you want to put the pandas data frame for your Seaborn, and this will run so smoothly. So no worry about that because that is the pandas aware. And also the second part is aesthetic. Do you know what is aesthetic? That will make your chart looks pretty. Okay, maybe traditionally if you're using the matte plot, and that will just give you the black or white color. But for the Seaborn, that will give you the colorful table and the colorful chart. Okay, so that's the reason why we're using the Seaborn. So you can see, by the way, you can also see these 2 boxes. The first one will be the matplotlib library, and the second one will be the Seaborn. So if we're using the Seaborn, this is just one line can finish all the things. But if you're using the matplotlib, and we needed to type in so much. Okay, so that's the reason why in today so many persons want using the Seaborn, and the Seaborn becomes so popular. And what makes Seaborn so powerful? That has four things. Like the first one is statistic built in. Because in the Seaborns we already have some statistic idea. For example, like you go to the statistic course, and there has one thing like the standard deviation, and then you needed to operate it. But actually, in your Seaborn, you can run it in your Seaborns. You're just using the functions, and that will finish all the things through our Seaborn. And the second stuff is about the pandas aware. What is pandas aware? And in the previous course, you already know what is pandas. And the pandas is we can use in the traditional Excel file and translate into the data frame. And we can use in the data frame. Maybe we can use in the 3D dimension and to run it. So everything, if you just finish in the pandas, we can just put in our Seaborn directly. You don't need to adjust anything. So this is really straightforward. And the third part is about the categorical aware. What is categorical aware? This is just about when we have the data, we need to classify that. And that will help us to set up with a category. So this will make the people, when we see the chart, that is really easy to understand what the things you want to illustrate. Or maybe you want to compare with a different category, what's their difference and what's their same part. So this is a categorical aware. And the fourth thing is Polish default. What is Polish default? Polish default in Chinese is just like 就是比较精致一点的样貌图表. Okay, because when we using the traditional chart, that is just so normal, like the black or white. That's so boring. But today we using the Seaborn, that will give you the good color, and that you will see that the color will not so strong, and that is really color friendly for all of you. Okay, so this is when we use it. Let's just describe what you want, and Seaborn will handle the rest. Okay, so that is just like your lesson mile in this course. Less miles. You just put the data, and they will give you the chart. Okay. And besides the function is quite powerful, it has another thing is quite special because Seaborn built-in dataset library. What's this meaning? They have so many datasets, and we just through these datasets, and that's quite easy to understand why we need to use in Seaborn and how to use it. So today I will using these datasets, maybe 2 or 3 datasets to as our demonstrated case. Okay, and we will do this case to understand that. Just like we will give you the tips, penguins, and the flies or iris, like diamonds, all the things. There has so many data sets. And later we just using SNS get data sets name, and we will see how many data sets are there. Okay, and later I will demonstrate what the data sets we can use. Okay, so the data sets will just like this one. Okay, later we will just have a chart like this. Look so professional, right? Okay, so that is our today's part. But before that, now I wanna ask you to download it, and also we can run this one. Just import the pandas, import the Seaborn, and also import the matplotlib library. Okay, we can run it. If that can run, and that will becomes 1. Okay, so that means we already setting up with these 3 package. Okay, and by the way, here has one thing we wanna check is this one. So we needed to check with this how many data sets we have. Okay, so you can see here not only the 6 data sets, it has over than 10 data sets we can use. Okay, but today we will only demonstrate the 3 examples for you. Okay, so now it's your turn. Please download my file from the Moodle, and also put the file to the Jupyter's and run the first one and the second one. Okay. So please look at here, just our second chapters is about our major part in today's class. It's about the 6 essential chart. Okay, so if you don't have the Seaborn or you don't have the made part, and maybe you can go to your Anaconda prompt and to download it, pip install Seaborn or the Conda install Seaborn. Okay, it depends on you. You like which one, and you just choose that one. Okay, so before entering into our chart, later we will demonstrate with you the tips data set. Tips. Tips is just when you go to the restaurant and you needed to give the tips after when you finish your dinner or lunch. Okay, so that is tips. And later we will using the SNS. SNS is just we using the Seaborn's package, and we will load the data set is tips. And the tips data set is just like this one. We have the total bill, and the tip, and the sex, smoker, day, time, and the size. We have these things. Okay, size is just how many people to have the lunch or dinner. Okay, so we will depend on this to conduct some analysis. And the right hand side is just columns definitions in there. Okay, so this is just a data set to record it, the American restaurants their tips records. Okay, so now we can see this one is about the bar plot. Bar plot. Okay, what is bar plot? Bar plot is just like our right hand side, and then now at the beginnings we can see like here. Okay, the first one we just run our tips, so you can see the table of our tips. And our second part is we will import these two things. One is Seaborn and other is matplot. And then later we will set a theme. What is set a theme? Set a theme is just you need to give a whiteboard of your chart. Okay, so we set that is a white grid, and the context is talk. Okay, we just set it up with a board. Okay, and later we will put the chart on the board. And the second one is we will load in the data set. Okay, so the SNS load data set. And the third one is about our bar plot. Okay, later we will using any bar is just like this way, because the plot is just under in the SNS package. So SNS bar plot, and the first one we will setting up with data tips, and we will setting up what is your X and what is your Y. X is our day and Y is our tip. Okay, maybe you can put the other things, and maybe just using this way. Wait me a moment, I give you a simple version. The simple version is like this one. Okay, just this. We can run our first chart. Okay, so you can see like this one. In this restaurant, the record only from the Thursday to the Sundays. And the tip is from the 2.75 and to 3.25. Okay, so we can depend on this figure to know these things, right? So maybe today you wanna change the other thing, like maybe we can use in the size. Okay, so we can see the other thing, and we can find out that in the Fridays maybe just have the 2 person to go to the restaurant, and when we got the Sundays, and we got more people to join in dinners for a meal. Okay, so that is about the bar part. But if you want to put more detail, that is also acceptable. How to put more detail? Just like this one. We can set it up with the color. We can set it up with arrow bars. That is 95% confidential interval. Just like we mentioned in the previous part, we say that's built up the statistical idea in the Seaborn. Okay, so in here you can set it up with your confidence interval. Okay, but if you don't want to set it, that is also okay. And also you can set up with a title, also with a white label, and we will run it just like this one. And why we using this color? Because we are from NCKU, so we need to using our identify color. Okay, so Now it's your turn. Please try to practice with your this part. In front, you can see here the style you can change it with white gray, white, dark gray, and dark and thick. And for the context, you can change the other thing like the paper. I can put in here, so you will see something change. And also the font, you can choose in your font style. Which font style you wanna use in. Our default is sans serif, and another thing is serif, and also the cursive, Artile, and Helvetica. Okay, and I'm really like using the Helveticas. Okay, but we don't have this font family, so maybe we needed to use in other, like the serif. And now, before you run it, I wanna ask you a question. Is please look at the word. Okay, please look at the word. That this word is serif. This word is serif. This word is serif, and I wanna change as sans serif. This is sans serif. What's their difference? What is this difference? Is there anyone can see the difference? One is sans serif, is this one, and other is serif. What's the difference? Yes? 对，这是字体。细节上面有什么差异？ What's the detail?
It's more sharper.
More sharper.
It's more like Times New Roman.
Like Times, this is like Times New Roman, and another one is like the Arial, right? Any other? One is more smoothly, and one has a serif. And actually, you can look at here. One way is this one, okay, and other way is just like this one. Okay, that has something different, like this part. Okay, and like the Chinese, this, and maybe that will become this one. Has a triangle in here, and go to here, and here is also the triangle, like this way. So that is their difference. That is their difference. And if you like this one, and we will use in the Arial or the Helvetica. And if you want this one, and that will be the Times New Roman. And I wanna ask you. Now we know there has two font style. We have a two font style. One is serif. Serif is this one, and the other is sans serif. Which one is more formal? This one is formal one, or another one? This one is formal one. Okay. If you have the when we using the formal style, we will using the serif. And if today you wanna become the younger, and you wanna become the more funny, and you will using the sans serif. Okay. So for example, if today our school give you a letter says, oh, congratulations, you can enter into our school, and I using an Arial style. That is a little bit strange, right? That is a little bit strange because that is a formal letter. So for the formal things, and we will try to use in the Times New Roman or the other font style. Okay. But if you're using the Times New Roman, that is sometimes it's not the formal, it's just for the like our government or the public documents. So there still has the other font style you can use. Okay. So I just wanna let you know And maybe the next time when you take our public transportation, and you can look at their font style. That is really interesting. That is really interesting. Okay. So we will keep going, and please look at here, our second data set. Okay, we will enter into the second chart. That is about the penguin data set. Okay, what is penguin? And what's the thing they give us? We have so many variables like species, Iceland, and bill, flipper, and body, and sex. What is bill? And what is flipper? Anyone know this? 有人知道这是什么东西吗？ Yes, because we are in the School of Management. So I look for a picture like this one. Bill is in here. Bill is in here, and the flipper is in here. Okay, because at that moment, just ecologist doctors just go to the place, and between the 2007 to 2009, and they wanna observe the situation from the penguins because they wanna understand the climate change issue. Okay, so they record so many data and they share the data for the public. Okay, so we can use this data and try to have a figure. Okay, so now we try to use in this data set is about the penguin data set. Okay, so later we will have a histogram like this way. Okay, like this way. How to do this one? Is I think at the beginning we just have an easy one. It's just about we can setting up with his plot, and the first one is what about our data set, and what is our x. Okay, just what's the variable we wanna using. So we wanna using the body mass g. So we can go to here to check that body mass g is about the body mass. Okay, the weight of the penguins. Okay, so we will depend on this, and the bins is 24. What is bins? Bins is just set the number of the bins in the histograms, and if this number is larger, and we will give more line. Okay, but if you can change the number like the 20 or 10, and you will see the different number of the bins. Okay, and the later one is the KDE. What is KDE? KDE that will just give you a curve, and this curve will give more smoothly. Okay, that will run the curve smoothly. So that is a KDE. And when you using the KDE, you can choose the true or false. Okay, so you can also type with the true or false to run it. So now we can run our histogram like this one. Oh, by the way, at the beginning, penguins data is here. Do you see any situation in here? What's the situation in this figure, in this table? What's wrong with this data set? If we just run this data, maybe that's where something wrong. Okay, so what's the problem we encounter? What's the problem we encounter? Yes?
Empty values?
We have the null data, right? You say NT value is?
Yeah, like
NaN like?
line 3 that doesn't have any value.
Just a missing value?
Yeah.
Yes, so that is right. So we got so many missing value. So maybe we needed to drop this one, or we needed to drop this one because they don't have any data. So there has a way is we can use in the drop NA. Okay, in the previous course we learned that we can drop that. So in here you can see originally we have 344 rows, 344 piece of data, and in here we only have 333. So we drop out the maybe 11 records. Okay, and after that we can use in this data to do the new thing like this way. So we can get this figure. We can get this figure. And by the way, that is not enough. Maybe we need to give more detail. So what kind of the detail we can put in? I think there has one thing is HUE. HUE is like hue, and we can give the that will help us to classify. For example, for this data, okay, for the penguins, they have the different species. Like here, we can see there has a different species. So we want to set up with a different species. So if you are species A, and we will give you the red color. If you are species B, we give you the blue color. And if you are another species, we give you the green color. So we're just using the different color to classify it. So in here, we can set it up with HUE is species. So we can run it. This will become this one. So that will become an interesting figure, right? So in your final project, you can also have this type of the figures. So you just try to give the different category, and that will make your user or reader really easily to understand what the things you want to share. Okay, so now it's your turn. Now it's your turn. You can try to type with this. All right, so look at here. The third chart will be the box plot. Box plot. Box plots in Chinese we say this is a 象形图. 象形图. And now we will also depend on the tips data set, and we give the x and y, maybe the day and the total bill, and we will have a figure like this way. So that is really easy for the person to understand. If today you want to become the staff in the restaurant, so maybe we need to work for the Saturday and Sunday, we will get a higher pay. We will get a higher pay, right? If you look at the RD YouTube channel, in his channel, he just discussed about in American restaurants, how about their tips issue, right? So maybe we can also use in this figure and to write. But that is quite easy, right? Quite easy. So I will more like the histogram. Okay, but maybe you can also try with this one. Okay, and when you try this one, and after that we can take a 10-minute break, and later we will keep going. So we will take a rest till to the 2:30. 2:30. Okay. All right, let's move on to the next part, and so we will see the bar plots, the advanced chart. Okay, so in here we can give the order, like maybe you wanna setting up from the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and you also you can setting up with the pet. You can define what the color you wanna use. Okay, in here so I define with the red and the yellow, so you can also define the colors. So that is the parameters we can define. And also we can, through this figure, and try to analyze it. For example, we can see the red box. Okay, the first line in here. The red box is about our dinner, and the yellow box is I think the red box is lunch. Okay, the red box is lunch, and the yellow box is dinner. So we can see the dinner, the bill is higher than our lunch, right? So if we give the different color, this will be really easy to understand the difference. Okay, so in here you can see I'm using HUE, the hue, I'm using the time to set up with the two categories. So category 1 is for our lunch, category 2 will be the dinner. So if today you wanna analysis more, I think that is really important to setting up with your category. And how to setting up with that? The hue will be a crucial one. Okay, so you wanna depend on the time, and you wanna depend on the sex, or you wanna depend on plot. That is also okay. For example, in here, we can see our figure like this one. Maybe I can run the tips. Okay, in tips, we have the smoker and also the sex. So maybe I can change the hue as a sex. So we can know the different sex type, and they give the different tips, right? And also maybe you wanna change it to the smoker. Okay. smoker in here, so we will know what's the difference. Okay, so maybe you can using the different variable to setting up with your category, and that will more easier to see some insights from the figure. Okay, so now it's your turn. Please put more parameters into your figure. Part is about the scatter plot. Scatter plot. In Chinese we say 散点图. Okay, so in the scatter plot, now we just using an easy version to understand the idea. Also, in each plot, I think it's all the same. We needed to give the data, give the x, give the y. Okay, so you can depend by yourself. So the data I use in the penguins, and the x is the flipper length, and the y is the body mass. Body mass is just their weight, right? So we can use in this way to understand if these two things has a positive relationship or not. So if you see there has a line like this way, so maybe this is two things there has a strong relationship. Okay, and in this way also can help you to find out if there has some outlier or not. Like this one, maybe this is just like an outlier. Okay, because their body weight is too high. Okay, and maybe here is too low. Okay, so we can use in this way to find out some outlier. So that's the reason why we needed to use in the scatter plot. And sometimes maybe we can also use in this way to classify. Maybe we can set them up with a different cluster. If they more focus on this circle, and maybe we can say, oh, here is a cluster, and here is another one. Okay, so you can use in scatter plot to do so many things. The first one is evaluate the relationship between the two variables. The second one is we need to find out the outlier. The third one is we can see the different cluster on the scatter plot. Okay, so the three things we can do this plot. And here is just the variable we can use. So you can define the HUE, style, size, S, alpha, all the thing is good. But I want to recommend you another thing is alpha. In our previous figure, we didn't use in the alpha. But if you use in the alpha, that is make our figures just setting up with their transparency from 0 to 1. So maybe you can set up with a 0.5 or 0.7. So that will have a good color. So you can try with the alpha. And then now you can see this one. I put the more four parameter in here. The first one is I want to set it up with a species. So in the right hand side figure, you can see there has three different color, right? So we can see the different species. We have the species A and species C and the species G. Okay, so you can find out the species A and the species C that is quite similar, but species G is totally different. Okay, so if you give the species, and that will quite interesting. Okay, and the style I also setting up with a same, and the S I setting up with a 70. So what is S? S is our maker size. Okay, so maybe here you can change to the 20, all the thing will become the smaller. And maybe you can change to the 100 or 70, that depends on you, what the number you want to give. Another is alpha. You can set it up, in here I set it up with a 0.85, and then maybe you can set it up with 0.2, or you don't want to set it up with the alpha, that is also acceptable. So now we can see this figure in here. But what's wrong with my Jupyter? Okay. Okay, my Jupyter is shut down. Okay, so maybe you can type now. Okay. You can try with this one. Later I will restart my Jupyter. Already finished, and now please, now we can see the scatter plot in here, right? So actually we already learned maybe 2 or 3 data sets, but now I wanna choosing another data set. Okay, in here, wait me a moment. In here, we have so many data sets, like here, okay. Here we have so many data sets. Please choose any one, but not flies, not penguins. You can choose other one, and try to have a plot like this way. Okay, try to have a scatter plot with a different data set. And later, please upload your figure to the Zuvio. Okay, so now you need to using the scatter plot, but you need to apply with a different data set, like here, like maybe you can use in the diamond, like the fMRI, like the other things, like Titanic. Titanic is also an interesting data set. Do you know what is Titanic? Just a movie. I don't know if you born or not at that moment. Okay, so maybe you can use in the Titanic data set and try to run it, and later please upload your practice to the Zuvio. So maybe you can see here, some of you already delivered your assignments, and you will find out that some of the figure is just quite good to using these kind of the plots. Not every data set really suitable for a specific plot, so maybe you needed to try. Okay, but that is just a practice, no worry. But maybe in your final project you needed to find out which plot will be the most suitable with your data set. Okay, you needed to evaluate by yourself. Like this one is just like the diamond, and this one is quite suitable for our practice. Okay, so maybe you can also try that. And for me, I also conduct my practice like this one. I using the iris. This is a type of the flower, and they have the sepal and the petal. And the sepal has the red and white, and the petal has the red and white, and also the species. So what's iris? Iris is this one. So one is petal and other is sepal. So I depend on these two things and to run my practice like this way. Okay, so you can see the different species and have the different situation. Okay, so this is also a way to run the data, and you can have your own practice. The next part, so please look at here. Look at here. And now I want to introduce with you another data set. This data set is about our flight, the flight. Okay, just how many people to take the airplanes. So the data set is from the 1949 to the 1960. And you can see here we have the 144 records, just 144 piece of data. But you will see this data is quite boring. Why I say this is quite boring? Because 1 month for one data, another month for another data. But sometimes maybe we can use in a way is just 1 year, just one piece of data. Another year is another piece of data. Okay, so we need to give this long form data, okay, long form data to another one, like on the right hand side. So we needed to change from the left hand side to the right hand side. In the 1949, we have the 12 piece of data, and another year is also 12 piece of data, and the 1951 is also the same. So we needed to switch the form of the data to another one. So how to do this? We need to using a way is pivot. We call this as a visual transformation. How to change that? We will change from the long form data to a wide form data. So in here, we can use in this way is pivot with a flight pivot. And we can set it up with an index. Our index will be the month. Our column will be the year by year. And the value will be the passenger. Okay, so we will change the data set. So in here, please go to here. We needed to import the data is flight, SNS low data set is right, and we can change this data set. Okay, so it's the same with our PowerPoint. Has a year and a month and a passenger. This is a long form, and we want to change with a wide form, so we needed to change as 5 pivots, and we can define the data sets by ourselves. So the index is month, column is year, value is passenger. So you will see the data set already be changed this way. So now is your turn. Please try to transform your data set now. And later we will keep going to using this wide form data set to run another figure. Alright, if you are okay, and we will see this one. This is a heat map. Okay, I really like this kind of the figures. Okay, because this figure is quite interesting. And actually, we can set up with the pivot. Okay, we already translate that, so we can use in the heat map. Okay, SNS heat map, and setting up with the pivot, and also setting with the line white. What is line white? Line white is this one. We have the white line in here, right? So we can, if we change here 0.5 or 0.7, so the line will be wider. Okay, and also we can set it up with the line color. This can set it up with a white or red or any white you can choose. So we can just depend on this to have our figure. But that is a simple one. So we can do another one is this one. Maybe for here, I think what's the difference between the simple and the advanced one? We can see in here, all the box is just the color, but they don't have the number. But maybe in the later one, I want to put the number in here. That is the first one. And the second one is I want to ask you, when we see the dark color and the light color, we know in here, if the number is lower one, we will have a dark color. If the number is a higher one, we will have a bright color, right? But actually, for your normal understanding, the dark one maybe have a larger number, right? Have a bigger number. So maybe we needed to change this one. We also needed to change this one. Okay? So we will move to the advanced one. Will be here. The first one will be we needed to set it up with our figure size. 11 and 6.5. Because we have so many things we needed to put in. So I changed with 11 and 6.5. And also I can change with ANNOT and FNT. So we can check with our previous page what is ANNOT. ANNOT is we will put the number on our box or not. Okay, that is ANNOT. And what is FMT? FMT in here, color code each group. So we can also set it up with this one. And also with setting up with a CMAP, VMAX, all the things just depends on yourself. Okay, CMAP are using the reds. So maybe you can change the other color style. Okay, so that is heat map. So please also run the heat map in your computers. Yes, we can keep going. So please look at here. And now please look at this number. Okay, please look at this figure, like the color dark or light, or the number is bigger or smaller. Can you depend on this figure to tell me something? What are the things you can observe from this figure? What kind of the things you can observe? Anyone can tell me what the things you observe? One way is our month, just from the January, February, March, and the later one will be our year to 1949 to 1960. So what are the things you observe? Anyone can tell me? Yes?
I think in this figure you can see when the airline industry become more mature, especially in 1959 to 1960, and especially in August and July, the summer vacation, lots of tourists will go on. So the number, the volume of passengers was going on more and more.
This summer hits the peak.
Yes.
And also the flight becomes more and more popular. Yes. Any other? Okay, so you can see when we have this figure, this is really easy to have a story. So here will be the light one, and here will be the darker. So you can see when we go to the 1960, the color will become the darker. Okay, but especially for the July, August, September, this color will be darker than the other months in the each year, right? So we will say when the month is hit, when we go to the summers, and all the numbers will have the peak. Okay, so that's a reason why we want to use it this way. And depends on this insight, and we can say when we can use in the heat map. When you want to talk about the two variable, their relationship. If these two variable, their relationship is quite light, so the things will become darker. And if that is become lighter, so this is not strong enough. Okay, so maybe you can depend on this, and you can tell a story. Just if the year becomes larger, and if the month is come to the August or September, and the color will be the darker, and that means will be more people to take the airplane. Okay, so that is heat map. That is heat map. So you can using the heat map to discuss the relationship between two variables. Okay, and now we wanna go to our last part. Is about the pair plot. About the pair plot. When we were using the pair plot, I think it's at the beginning. When you have a data set, just like you already using the NumPy or Pandas to finish your data, and you want to put the data into the Seaborn, but you don't know which kind of the plot you want to use it. You can use in the pair plot. Why I say we can use in the pair plot? In here, we can run this one. Is the pair plot. I using the penguins and using HUE is species, and the diet kind is KDE, so this will have a smooth curve. So you can see this one. So many figures in here. So many figures in here. But actually this is not enough. You needed to see which kinds of the data will easily to tell a story. Maybe some of you think, oh, like this curve, this is easily to tell a story. And maybe some people you think the scatter part will have a good story. So you can change it. You can choose by yourself. So at the beginning, you will have a pair plot at the beginning. And later, you will decide which one you will like it. You will like it. And in here, they will using the different variable. Like here, the left-hand side, the first one will be the BO length. The second one will be the BO depth. And the third one will be the flipper length. And the fourth one will be the body mass. And in here, also different variable. Okay, so you can through these to check with that which variable will be the more insightful. Okay, this is really depends on you. And also in here, like I wanna depend on what kind of the variable. If you didn't choose in here, I didn't choose which variable I wanna use. So they just give me the figure automatically. But actually, I can choose it. I want to choose with BO length, flipper length, and also body mass, just their weight. So I can have a figure like this way. Okay, just a 3 variable, and the 3 times 3. So that will be our final result. So that is pair plot. That is a pair plot. But when you have the pair plot, you need to tell a story. Like at the beginning, maybe when enter into your final project, you need to tell about your data processing, your data process. At the beginning, how to getting the data, and how to processing your data, and how to have a figure. But at the beginning, maybe you don't know which variable will be the most important. So maybe you just show me the pair parts. You say, oh, through here I can know which variable will be the most crucial one. So we depend on this result and to finding out to focus on the specific variable, and we run another figure. Okay, so this will make all the things become more interesting. So you need to tell the people your logic, why you have this figure, and what's the relationship between each figure, not just provide the figure. If you only provide the figure, actually that is not enough. That is not enough. Okay, so it's your turn. Please also try with this one. Alright, if you finish everything, now we have the last assignment is heat map. Heat map. Please using any data set, but not using the data sets we use in our course. So besides these 3 data sets, you can choose in other things. You can put another data set with this heat map and upload your pictures to the Zubio. Okay, if you upload it, and today's course is finished. Okay, and the next week we still have the course, so please also come to the course on times. Okay, so today's we will end in here.